I guess I'm live. Huh?
Are you live? Okay.
Good evening, viewers. Uh, I'm here to make a video on the behest of the wives, and by that I mean the harassing and the nagging and the. Ah,
We see you. Hi. Here, I'm watching from my phone. You can watch from here. I'm watching from my phone. Let me fix it. No, I know
so
that.
they've been asking me to do this video for a little while now, and about 10 years ago, I did a video on my first wife's page, Dream Girl 360, on the what qualities a man should have pursuing this. Uh, and by this, I mean trying to have multiple wives, I guess multiple women in a committed relationship. The information on that video was good, but it was purely theoretical. It came from just exploring the concept, just what I thought a man would need going into this. Uh, the guy on that video, that was 10 years ago. I was young, inexperienced, uh, a little immature. So now, 10 years later, and after 5 years of actually living this way, I'm here for a redo. I'm here to I guess give it to y'all, from a more experienced standpoint. Although, the points on that video is not bad. It, just following it has saved me from a lot of from a lot of mess ups, I guess. Which I have made mistakes, but I haven't just messed up. So, what does it take for a man to have multiple wives? What qualities is necessary for a man to have multiple wives? Let me start off by saying that no one has a monopoly on this. Even after you distinguish it from the other forms of plural marriage, it's still there's still a bit of a variety on ways it's practiced, right? But so really, all it takes for a man to has multiple wives is for him to, I guess, convince women to share him in a committed relationship. And there are a few ways. There are quite a bit of ways. Well, there's a few ways he could do that. Now, just excuse me while when I look off, I'm looking at my talking points. I did prepare some talking points. I'm not, the video person like the wives are. This is why a lot of the times you guys don't see me. Uh, so, for a man to have multiple wives, there's a few things that might cause him to achieve that. He may have, I guess, dashing good looks, if you want to call it. Uh, some what I call pimp like charm, like he knows how to
What?
he knows how to get into women's heads and convince them, of what he wants. Uh, or he may have an abundance of financial resources. Uh, they may be junkies and he may be their dealer, right? No, I'm gonna give it to y'all real, right? Or he may have knocked them up a few times. That happens.
A few times.
A few times, yes. A few times. Or he just exudes a level of masculinity that makes women submit to his program of him having multiple women. Or he has the intelligence to strategically pursue women who are already leaning towards such a familial dynamic or sell it to them. So he might have that, that charisma where he's able to, to convince women of what he wants, right? But if you were to look, so before I move on, so really, as long as a man can get multiple women to share him in a committed relationship, then this is a man with multiple wives in a marriage style relationship, I would say, right? And he has achieved that. No one can take that from him. No one can say, well, he's not doing it. But if you were to look at a man who does it successfully, and by successfully I'm talking about the uh the situation or the relationship, it fulfills the point of marriage, right? It fulfills the socio-economic purpose of marriage, in which everyone in it benefits from it, especially the children, right? If you were to look at a man who does it successfully, then you could narrow it down to a few qualities that I think are necessary. And I'm looking at just my 5-year practice of living this way and other people that I have encountered, that I have networked with, who does this. Uh, okay. I think one of the main things is that such a man is a family man, right? Because that's what this is. This is a man who is leading a large family. And even though, it may just be him and the two wives, no kids, it's still complex, right? So by that perspective, it's large. It's not as simple as just one woman, right? So this is a man that is driven by the purpose of family. This is a man that is fulfilled by family.
Mhm.
Uh, and such a man would be content with his family. Like you have some men who act like there is a hole within them they're trying to fill,
Mhm.
right? So they may have one wife and they may be like desperately seeking another wife, like they're trying to fulfill a hole, right? I think, well, I've come to understand, I should say, that that is not a good trait. Such a man would be content. If he has one wife, he's content with that one wife. Like, let me give you an example. In back in my days when you used to really go hard studying Torah,
Mhm.
right? You learn about the difference with Jacob and Esau, and the two of them, they had two different mindsets. Jacob's mindset was, well, Esau's mindset was, I have enough. And Jacob's mindset was, I have everything.
Yeah.
And it says, because of that mindset, the Most High just kept giving him more. So this is a guy who, like, he was content with he was content in the position he had, right? And he just kept, because of his contentment, he kept receiving more and more blessings. So I strongly believe that a man that is pursuing this is content. uh if he has one wife, he's content. If he has two wives, he's content. If he has three wives, he's content. And when I look back on myself, I have always been content with what I have, you know and but I'm always, open for whatever life has for me, and I just keep going forward in it. So I think that a lot of men that are, really, pushing that gas pedal, desperately searching, to me, they're missing out on just, how should I say it, just enjoying what they have,
Right. Yeah, being at peace. Yeah, being at peace.
right? Uh, I think this is gonna take long because this was just the first point.
That's
That's
fine.
fine.
Do you?
Preach, baby,
I would
preach.
say the second characteristic is intelligence, right? Yeah, yeah, you're going to be the center figure of a complex familial dynamic, right? So, you need a certain level of intelligence to navigate in this, to figure certain things out. You're going to be presiding over, complex matters in the family. So, you're going to need that sharp mind to really, understand what is going on and make decisions.
Right.
Uh, Discipline. You need to have some discipline in this.
Mhm.
If you have one wife or two, and you have an understanding with that one wife or these wives, that you're embarking on adding an additional wife. You need to be able to, sorry, I wrote it down here for this specific reason. Yeah, basically, you're going to have the privilege of pursuing other women while already having one or more. So you
Yeah.
need to be able to set boundaries, and the boundaries are going to protect you and your family. So you need to be able to set boundaries and stick to it, because a lot of the times you're going to have certain leeway to do certain things, and, like, talk to women with the intent of forming an intimate relationship with them, right? So you need to be able to govern yourself in this. You need to be able to set boundaries and stick to it, you know, not just giving in to desires that may arise, you know. You need to go about this with some form of structure in order to protect yourself and your family in this, because I've seen a lot of men go about this without discipline, and they quickly turn around and ruin themselves, or they quickly turn around and they turn their family into this revolving door where every few months it's a different woman, and it's women that they have gotten intimate with, right? And I mean, you turn around 2 years later, and they just have a, you know so many bodies in their left in their path, right? And when you do that, you basically weaken the the quality of your marriage. It's like it's no longer sanctified. It's just it's made common. You're now made common. It's like you're somebody's husband that all these women that turned out to be nothing has and they've had an experience with you that really women shouldn't have with a married man. So you as a man, you need to be disciplined in this. uh the other thing is, I guess, you need to have like a conviction to do right and to be right, because if you have bad intentions or foul intentions, it may get you somewhere, but it's only going to last so long. It doesn't work out, right? And what you find is that such a man with foul intentions, and he's using this to gain something that he shouldn't be using this to. He may get it, but it's not going to last so long. And you turn around, and this year he has this wife, and next year he has another wife. And the wife that may stay with him, she may be an enabler, basically, because it falls apart. If you don't go about it with a righteous spirit, it does fall apart. You'll get a woman, you may trick her, I guess, or seduce her into coming, and it's only going to take a some time for her to realize that this is not what it's supposed to be. It's not, it's not fulfilling the point of marriage, or she's not being fulfilled with you as a husband, or she's not getting what she expected. She's probably being used, used and abused, and many times it turns to her leaving, or something happening, because you have to understand that we live in a monogamy only society where everything else is frowned upon, right? So there is not a community support for polygyny, for having multiple wives. Everybody's gonna look at it like it's already a bad thing, and they're gonna be looking for the bad thing. So when that woman gets fed up, which they do, I've seen it happen many times. When she gets fed up, it'll be nothing for her to basically leave and seek whatever,
Wow. Wow.
whatever retribution or whatnot she can. It'll be, and she will have the support. She will have the support. There are enough mechanisms in this society for her to go behind. But I believe, if you get, or not believe, what I've witnessed, what I personally have witnessed, what I have seen is, if you start off with righteous intentions, and you have women who also have pure intentions about this, then it stand a greater chance of sustaining, right? Then, oh yeah, fairness. Fairness is very important in this.
Yes.
As the man, you have to, you need to be fair. I wouldn't say have to. You need to be fair. And you have to understand what fairness is. Fairness most times is not equal,
Right.
right? Sometimes fairness is equitable,
Mhm.
right? And When I say you need to be fair, I'm not talking about altruisms, be good for goodness sake. I'm saying it is easier for you as a man when you're fair. Because when the women when the women may have a problem, when they might see things a certain way, when you can show them the fairness in it, and most times, every time, they're going to submit to that. If you cannot show them the fairness in it, then you're gonna find yourself trying to fix something or trying to mend. You're gonna find yourself dealing with women's emotions. Me personally, and women are emotional, so they're going to see things certain ways at times and come at you accusing you of ill treatment or giving one more than the other. But if you can show them the fairness in it, then that kills a lot of the noise most of the times. So being fair is actually going to help you. So be fair, not for altruisms, but it is practical. It is practical. The last thing, and to me one of the most important things I would say, in my experience, a man pursuing this cannot be a woman-led man. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people to digest that. There's all the, these notions of how it should be, and from different cultures there is the matriarchal polygyny. But a man in this, man, cannot be a woman-led man, and you cannot be a woman-led man. You can be a woman-led man in different ways, but in order to do this, you cannot be a woman-led man in any way. You cannot be a woman-led man via manipulation. Because some women will lead you by manipulating you, right? Some women may lead you because they may have a dominant personality, and that may be how y'all's relationship are founded. She may come from a background where she is told, you woman, don't let the man lead you, you take control. It Look, we've seen it many times. It does not work. As the man, again, you're going to be the central figure. You have to take the lead in this. You have to be self-governing, and really, you cannot be an anything led man. You cannot be led by another man. If another man leads you, he's leading your family. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to be you have to have self-governance. You have to be self-led. It's good to have a mentor. A mentor that you could take guidance from, take advice from. But you have to be a man and lead your family, and you cannot let any of the women do it. Because what happens a lot of the times when you have in these relationships where the man is led by a woman, you know sometimes he's led by her emotional whims. So she may throw this emotional circus here in order to manipulate him into getting her way. And you get another wife in that, and she is now subjected to that. She is now going to be subjected to that. If she's the one with the dominant personality, it's the same thing. She is now going to be subjected to that. She is going to control that other woman's, control her going outs and her coming ins and her position in the family, and the the other woman wouldn't want that. Now, let's say, you know, I'm sorry, I'm being distracted a little bit. They promised they wouldn't do that,
No,
but
no, no. Our bad.
right. So I had a point.
I'm sorry. It's the fire upon Babylon. I said fire upon Babylon and just threw it all off. I apologize.
Yeah, it's not a machismo thing, but you know, if you're going to be a man doing this, you have to be a man. You have to be a masculine, dominant man, right? One who takes charge, who takes the reins, takes the wheel, and and guide your family where you with your righteous perspective see it fit to go. Yes, your wives are gonna play, an invaluable role in this. They're gonna help you maneuver that vehicle. They're gonna help you get there. But you really have to lead it. So those are the qualities I have assessed, right, that I think is important for a man to have in pursuing this in order for him to be successful at this.
Is everything?
That's part one.
The spiritual says she hopes that she didn't miss anything. Oh, her child died. But she's back now. She said she hopes she didn't miss anything too good. It was all good. If you missed anything, you gotta go back and watch it. This was good.
Is this the part where I take questions?
I
You
mean,
see, I don't
you
do
can
this.
possibly take questions.
Are there
It's
any
one of those things.
questions?
If there's any questions, then you take them.
I
If
don't
there
think
are
there's
no
any
questions, then we don't stay on.
Let me let me
Oh
think
yeah, you can
about
follow up when the
this.
questions come up. Okay,
If I've missed anything.
you missed anything? Let's see. Uh,
Oh, so the I guess this video is what qualities I think a man should have in pursuing this. Part two would be, I guess, what it is for a man who's actually living this. I guess, but I guess we could end it.
okay.
We could
But
end
wait,
it now.
a lot of
What?
people wonder what conflict resolution is like.
That ain't got nothing to do with qualities.
Oh, that had nothing to do with quality. I was trying to get y'all to answer.
Okay, but what conflict resolution is like? Like I said, fairness. 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 My point about fairness. That is going to conflict resolution. Fairness has to reign supreme. It's going to save you from a lot of it. It's going to save you from a lot of uh a lot of times where the wives may not be may otherwise not be content with with the decision made, or with the decision, the way the conflict was handled. If you can show them the fairness in it, again, they will submit to that, they will accept it. But again, that's if you're dealing with fair individuals. So you start off by selecting wives that understand fairness and that will submit to fairness. Like, I know me personally, with you guys, once y'all see it's fair, y'all are okay with it. Once I can show y'all it's fair, y'all are okay with it.
Like what? You're like, oh, okay. All right. That's fair. No, we've got it. Thank you. We've got it. Thanks a lot. You ready for a question? You do? Yes, we have a question.
Okay, what is the question?
How would you advise a man who is being led by women?
I would say don't do that. You're gonna set yourself up for headache, and you're gonna set any woman you try to bring in, you're gonna set her up for some mess. She's gonna because that woman you're being led by is gonna lead that woman. But that woman that's coming in, she's gonna come in to be led by you, not that woman. So that's going to create a lot of conflict. I would say address that first. Not I would say, but you gotta address that first. If you cannot address it, leave it alone. And I'll say this, man. If you have a wife right now and she is not she's not good at heart. She has foul ways, foul intentions, man. And you want this? Hey, start over. Start over, man.
Wait.
Start over. If she's not good, she's not good to you anyways. If she cannot grow, if she cannot grow in this and do away with foul ways, start over.
Mhm. Well, Zay is our last the question, so it's that they agree
Start over.
with your advice. Start over. To try to nip that in the bud first.
Yeah,
Right.
deal with that first. And look, we've seen it. We've
Mhm.
seen it so many times. I
Mhm.
mean, there's the boss wife. The boss wife is the
Oh,
dominant, controlling wife.
oh, of course.
The me queen bee.
Oh,
You
The
know, but then there is also the manipulative. And as far as I'm concerned, both are leading the man.
yes.
One is doing it explicitly, one is doing it implicitly, one is using her. Yeah, both of them are leading the man. There are some women, they will fabricate issues and become the victim in the situation to the other woman. How they feel victimized, and they might have that guy with a certain agreement. It may be a legal marriage certificate. So they might have a certain mechanism of leverage in the relationship. So start over.
Start over. Throw all of them away.
Go all of them. Start over.
You wanna give the,
All
you
right.
want to give the next
So
question?
the next question is, how do you deal with a manipulative code?
How do you deal with a manipulative?
How do you deal with a
manipulative
manipulative
wife?
additional wife?
Yeah.
You got to be a man. You gotta call it out. You call out the manipulation. You let them know that you're onto it. That you pick up on it. You do it. I guess you do it in a nice way. And every time the manipulation comes, you cut it off. You cut it off. Every time the manipulation comes, you expose it and you cut it off. You let them know, hey, I see what's going on here, and it's not gonna work. You put your foot down.
Put your foot down. Just in case you didn't hear that part.
Uh, okay, so that's the last question so far from
Anything
me.
to add?
I don't have anything to add. I was trying to think of something to ask him.
Hmm.
How do you feel? This is probably going into your part two. So if you don't want to answer, you want to hold it to part two, that's fine. How you feel having two wives?
How do I feel
How do you
having?
feel having two wives?
Two whole
That's a
Two
whole
different
whole
another.
people.
That is
wives.
a part two right
That
there.
is
That
a
is a
part two.
part
That's a
two.
whole long statement. Isn't it?
I'll
A little
go ahead and
snippet.
give it a go. It's it's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding. Uh, how do I feel having two wives?
Like, I don't
Oh
know.
dang! Is you alive or is you
I mean,
dead?
you see, the thing is, I cannot separate it. This is my life. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the question is, how do I feel about my life as
How
it
do you
is?
feel? How do you feel right now?
I feel good about my life. Especially like, how do you feel about your family
Your
life?
family.
Right.
I feel
Yes.
good about my
Are
family
you
life. I
happy
am,
right
I
now?
am, I am, I am, I am happy with my
Okay.
family. It's very fulfilling. Yo, we're gonna do this. We're gonna finish this. All right. You know, man, she
I don't know how you got out there that fast, bro. Okay. Okay. Hey, shalom from Darak Yaakov. Shalom, Darak. Hello. Um, so okay. You are content with your family.
yes.
Okay, that's good. Um, did you say what you would tell to the Jessies of the world? Because Jesse got a good head on his shoulders. I think he's going somewhere.
I don't know this guy too
You haven't met
much.
him. Oh, that's because you left,
You
right?
haven't. Yes, he left.
He left.
He's young.
He's a
He's an
young man.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, he's
And
striving
his
to be
ideal
something.
is you need to
I would
bring something
say,
to the table.
That is his ideals that you need to bring
You
to the
need
table.
to bring
you see,
something to the table.
as a man, I've always just focused on building myself at whatever state I was.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was single, I was focused on building myself. When I had my first wife, I was focused on, building myself, securing my family. With two wives is the same thing. So it's just this forever forward progression in building myself
Mm-hmm.
and my family and in whatever state my family is, whether it's monogamy, polygyny, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say as a man, if you just focus on building yourself, you focus on building yourself and you keep yourself open to whatever woman life throws at you. Of course, she has to go through your vetting process, but you keep yourself open to whatever woman life throws at you. I think that is an effective way of going about it. Like some men will basically shut it down, shut their life down, and just be on this mission to find a wife or find another wife and find another wife, and that's what they're about. I'd say, man, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. Pursuing women, like how to say, don't I put it in slang and just slang a little bit. It's a little bit gutter, but back home we say man not chase catty. You chase the dollar and you let the catty chase you.
Wow. Well,
Right?
in American, that's
So
what it says.
He don't chase. He
Chase
don't
the
chase.
dollars. Don't let the
Yeah,
don't chase the cat.
and then let the cat chase you once you got your dollars already. But I hear that though.
Yeah.
so
I
basically
hear
saying
that.
like
That's real.
don't be chasing women. Just focus on building yourself.
Amen.
And women, smart women, they will recognize you as a man, as a formidable man, and they will approach you. They will make themselves available to you, and you as a man, all you have to do is vet that woman, see if they fit into your program, whatever it is. And if you think it's going to work, or if you have your system, put her through that system, put her through the process.
Okay. What do you do about um, you, you're a couple and you have this wife and you want to be polygynous and she just does not want it. She don't want it. And y'all been together more than 5 years and she just really doesn't want it. What does a man do? Because he doesn't want it. I mean she doesn't want it, but he does.
Okay, I will say this: if you're in that situation and if you figure you want it so bad that but your wife doesn't want it, then start over. I mean, if you
Okay.
want it that bad, start over. Now, I will say, if she is a good woman, man, how sure are you that you're gonna find another good woman out there? man. I know men who have been looking for a second wife for years
Mm-hmm.
and they've been unable to find one. You know, I've had men who have, you know, messed themselves up because the first wife didn't want it, but they proceeded without her consent anyways. And you know, and it fell apart.
Yeah.
So you really have to, but you really have to be smart about it. You know, should you, if she's a good woman, you know, should you have your good woman unhappy, miserable because you went after something she didn't want, that she, you know, that she wasn't informed of, that you were going to go after it after she made the marriage covenant with you, right? But if you want it that bad, then start over. Start over with a woman that now you know about it. Start over with a woman that is going to go for it. You know, and that's hard. That's hard. It sounds callous, but basically what I'm saying is, you know, as a man, be a man. Don't be a weasel.
Right.
You know, don't be a weasel. Don't go behind her back. Don't do something. Don't break your agreement. You know, a man who kind of live up to his word is not, you know, you're not that much of a man. You know, so if you figure you want it that bad, then be a man, stand on your square, say, hey, well, this is what I want. I know we started off like this, but now I'm over here. This is where I'm grown. And it hurts me that you haven't grown over here with me. But this is what I want. So since you're unwilling to go to go with me through it, then I'm going to terminate this so I can go pursue this life that I want.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've never seen that work out for a man.
Yeah.
You know, again, a man that works out, a man this works out for is a man that is content with what he has.
Mhm. So, what about a man who doesn't have any money? He's he's working. I'm saying McDonald's. You know what I mean? I'm just using that as an example. But he wants polygyny.
Whatever your financial position is, I would say finances make it, having, you know, your finances set up right, it makes it easier. But again, all it takes for a man to have multiple wives is for him to be able to convince the women to, you know, to share him in a committed relationship. So if he works at McDonald's and he could convince the women, him being he working at McDonald's can convince two women to share him in that economic state, then hey, you know, and you find a lot of men there, you know, they're not they're not they're not wealthy men,
Mhm.
and they're able to convince women to share them. You know, if a man has a plan, if he has a program and he's able to sell it to the women and the women believe in that program, then he could go for it. But I will say that it makes it much easier when you have your finances in order. Like especially if you're going to, which you have to lead that household. You have to lead that household, right? Uh, if your women are the ones footing the bill, paying the bills, earning the bread, then you basically lost a lot of your ground as a man in your house, right? So let's say you're in a monogamous relationship. Your current wife You know, she earns more than you to the point where your current setup relies heavily on your earnings.
On
You
her
bring
earnings.
on her earnings,
Yeah.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You're bringing a second wife, right? Now, your second wife, maybe she works too. She so she has her own money. She relies on her earnings. If that is the if y'all can come to an agreement with that, then that's fine. But I'm trying to explain this
Mm-hmm.
without seeming biased.
Okay.
You know, I do believe a man should provide and he should provide for every wife he has.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially the basic provisions, food, clothing, shelter,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, sex,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that is not an absolute. You know, that is not an absolute. People come together in a variety of agreements.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you could find, you know, women that are willing to agree to that, then you know, then you can make it work. But I do find it better if the man is able to meet the basic provisions of all the women. They they may tend to, you see, I don't want to be biased in this. I want to say they may tend to respect him, but again, that is not absolute.
Right. Okay.
The
So,
dog,
huh? What your dog
I
walking
hear
around?
somebody points out, yeah, it's my
Uh.
dog.
So L Jordan says, "Greetings, my brother." Okay. First of all, um, K Berry. Okay. Okay. Before we go to K Berry's question, let me address. I want to give you Love Truth's opinion. This Love Truth, and I don't know if they're male or female, says that he should definitely be investing his money to enhance his economic situation. From a dividend stocks, high yield savings, upward mobility, epic job.
Yeah, you know, that is
Like, great.
I'm trying to not talk in absolutes like that is the only way it's going to happen. Yeah, definitely that is sound advice. He should do that again. Build yourself,
Hmm.
you know, yes, invest your money, build your wealth.
Hmm. And I mean, it's one of these things, you guys. Yeah, if y'all go back after the video's over, and you go back and you watch the video, you'll see that he does talk about building yourself up and things like that. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat, and we will give them to him. And at this point, we have Kay Berry asks, "Should the women have to work?"
No, the women should the women have to work?
Yes, and I'm posing the question the same way they pose the question: Should the women have to work?
You know, I would say family is about cooperation.
Mm.
You know, my wives do not work. But again, I'm not trying to I'm trying not to speak in absolutes unless it is an absolute.
Mm.
Right? Should the women have to work?
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, I'm not even. Should the women have to work?
They
Should the
have
women?
to
No, the
work.
women shouldn't have to work. You know, everybody should do what is best for the family and what they can do for the family in the current position. It 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 it, it is
Mhm.
family, marriage is about man and woman cooperating, right, to build something together. I know in my family for the last how many years my first wife has been a stay-at-home mother,
Mhm.
stay-at-home wife and mother, and that was what was best for my family. That was her cooperating and helping the family move forward. You know, because of that, my kids are homeschooled. You know, I've always been, you know, I just had that support. of a stay-at-home wife, which is invaluable. You know, the second wife came in while we had two businesses in full swing. So she came in and immediately helped us, hit the ground running, helping us out with the businesses. So that is her again cooperating with what was in the family's best interest. So I would say if get a wife that is a cooperating wife, right? Not a selfish woman. If she's going to be like, oh, me, I'm not working, but then the family kind of needs her to work, then start over.
Again. Just start it over. If you can bring in more income, this is from K Berry as well. But if you can bring in more income, is that better? Like,
If the man,
no, like if so basically what I'm gleaning from the question is, if okay, do the wives need to work? No, they don't need to work. But if you can bring in more income, is that better? Like if it's like she's like, look, if this woman's like, look, I can go get a job and I can bring in more income,
it
like
it
is that
it,
a
it
deciding factor,
if
a
if
determining
if that
factor?
if that income is ultimately going to help the family, then yeah, it's better. And if the family is not going to be at a loss by her, going out to get that income, then that is better. You have to look at the pros and cons. Like I'm at a point where I'm actually understanding that money is not everything.
Mhm.
So you have to look at what that income is going to do for that family and what is the cost of her getting that income. Like what is the family going to be without? Because a woman in the home is a very valuable thing, especially with the children. That, and just you as a working man, you have that woman that cooperates, that supports you from the home base. That is very valuable. And in after two businesses, I've realizing, not realizing, but I'm really understanding that, man, like money is not always that important.
So you own two businesses. Are they working to help the family?
Are the businesses
I
working to
think
help the
I think
family?
she's asking about me and Michelle.
Like, what do you mean working to help the family?
Like I guess working in those businesses.
Well, yeah, we just transitioned one from a brick and mortar. We shut down the brick and mortar. When the brick and mortar, it was a store. When the brick and mortar was up, yeah, they ran it. They ran it. They were the faces of it. I was just, I was the guy in the background just guiding them through it. And even now with the other one, they play major roles in it. If you have multiple wives and y'all could come together to build a business, to build some kind of empire, and all of you put your efforts into it, then that's going to be a good thing. Especially in this life, you're going to have a certain autonomy, because it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be difficult, say, if you have to go to if you have a job, or they have a job. If you're able to have something separate, something that is your own, something in which, like, you don't have to answer to anybody, then you can be more freer living living this way.
Okay. Um, there aren't any more questions in the chat. I'm looking. Espiritu says, in my words, throw her behind away. I was like, yeah, you throw the whole woman away. That's what we said, right? Um, and I can't think any more questions off the top of my head. So, oh, here's somebody. It's K Berry again. My wife would like to know, how can you split your time? How do you split your time?
It's easy when you live in the same home, when you all live in the same home, and when you have wives that are get along as best friends. you're typically just in the midst all the time. So it's not, a lot of the times it's not splitting your time. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I guess except for, you know, bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times it's not splitting your time. A lot of the times, you know, you're there in the house as the man of the house, and you you know you just play your role
Mm-hmm.
as the man. When it comes to everything else, you know, it's, you know, I typically, you know, I relate to each wife differently. Like for instance, the other one, she always helps me out in whatever project I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So she always goes with me to
Mm-hmm.
do that. Whereas with you, you're like my secretary. So you, so we we relate on that level.
I'm the
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
So you know you have your independent relationship with each wife that is going to be different, and you know, and you relate to each wife according to the inner workings of that, or the particulars of that, of that relationship you have with them.
Do you ever find, what do you do when one of your wives comes up lacking in need?
You try to provide that. You know, if she has a problem, if she feels like she's not getting, you assess, you know, what she's talking about. If you feel that she's wrong, you explain it to her. Here's where fairness
Fairness.
is going to help you out.
Once again, fairness
You know,
will help
fairness is
out.
going to help you out. So if she's wrong, then you sure know, you know, this is fair. This is what is fair. And again, if you have a good woman, she will submit to that. She will accept that. She will understand that. But if, you know, and sometimes it's not about fairness, you know, because we are individuals. Some people might just want more of this, and out of love, you know, yeah, if you can give it to her, why not?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's a good thing, if it's not something that is a bad thing, and if she says she wants more of this or more of that, and you can give it to her, give it to her.
Okay. And this is this more as an equity. I mean, you know what I mean? Equitable versus
Yeah,
equal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's where you get to equitable versus equal.
Yeah. Because that happens sometimes around here.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because no, you know, no two people are the same.
Right.
You know, so you got to deal with people according to their individual personalities, which, you know, some personalities may want more of this, you know, and if you married that personality and they require that from the person they married, then you know, you try to provide it for them if it's a good thing. I know I want a lot. I want a lot from both of them.
Uh-huh.
So, and with me, it's like you married me,
We married you.
so you know this is what I want out of a wife.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so you know you have to try to meet each other's needs. That's what marriage is about. So in dealing with multiple wives, yes, you have multiple women that you have to try to meet their personal needs.
Yes. Okay, so this question might be a little bit loaded, but Love Truth asks, can you describe the program your household operates to keep it on the path that you wanted to take, i.e., screening consorts must have characteristics that you want your family to express? Can you describe the program your household? Do we have a program that our household operates
I
on?
guess our program is we try to be self-sufficient. So you know, you know, in the background, if you could see it, is a garden where we try to grow. Over there, we have chickens. And really, this is just the precursor to what we're ultimately trying to achieve, which is to live on the 25-acre property where we if, you know, we want to practice a form of self-sustainable living. Uh, so that is our goal. That is where we're trying to get to.
Mhm.
What does
Well,
that
that's the
answer the question?
what about like do you like I'm guess they're asking like do you incorporate that ideal of self-sufficiency when it comes to like screening consorts. So I'm saying screening potentials that are trying to come in. Do you keep that like
If you
at the
back up on
forefront?
the video, you will see, where I said, basically, I don't go around pursuing women.
Hmm.
I really just focus on the family I have, and I am fulfilled by the family I have. Uh, so that question does not really fit.
Okay, let me try to rephrase it because you don't look. The sisters be looking.
Oh, y'all be
No,
looking.
not us. No, we don't look. No, I'm talking about outside sisters. They be
They
looking.
they they look.
Yeah, and they were like sometimes they're like, I'm interested in that family right there. I'm interested in him. I'm interested in being a sister to those
Okay,
right
so
there.
yeah,
When
that
you find out,
that does happen to me. It's all noise.
but when you find out that they're interested,
I
do
mean,
you keep in anything like
it's gonna take more than being interested for you to find yourself over here or with us.
this is true?
So being interested to me is nothing.
Okay, he said, but if a woman comes into your scope, if they
Hmm.
come into your scope, like what characteristics do you look for?
I mean, she has to. I guess ultimately, what to me the most important thing to look for is similar life goals. So if she is hip to what I just described my family is pursuing, the self-sustainable living on our ranch, then that would ultimately the most important thing. To me to me, where you're going is more important than where you're coming from. Or where
Okay.
you're trying to go is more important than where you're coming from. Once once your goals kind of align, then you know that is the most important thing. Then we could work from there,
Mm-hmm.
or that would be a good starting point.
Okay.
So basically, like, you can come over here with the goal of wanting to be some entertainer of
So like no singers,
right.
no professional. I'm going after my record
Right, but if
label
you if you're
singing.
about what we're about, if you're about the homesteading, if you're about the homeschooling, if you're about that, then then that's a good starting point. That could, it's like, yeah, okay, all right. And then if you also bring in some talents that assist there,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, uh, yeah, that would be a good.
Okay. Now, K Berry wants to come back to the situation about splitting your time and your wife's lacking in need. Uh, what happens if both are in need at the same time for different reasons? They both need you at the same time. And it's something only you can do. What do you do?
It doesn't happen like that, man. I guess first you start off again with cooperating women.
Hmm.
That is essential. You start off with cooperating women that understand that they're not the only wife,
Right.
women that are fair, that aren't selfish, women that actually respect the other wife, and respect them as women that you are also their husband,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
if you have women like that, what you're gonna find is that, most times, like with you and her,
Hmm.
one of them will state they will step back and say, well, you know what, okay, well, deal with her first because hers seems
More
more,
pressing, the more pressing
yeah, hers
issue.
seems more pressing,
Hmm.
or mine can wait.
Right.
So this is what I deal with. I deal with cooperating women that get along and that respect each other, and more so respect the fact that I am the other woman's husband as well. and understand that they're not my only wife, and they're not divisive. They're not in this competition game where it's, you know, no, me first type thing. I deal with mature women that understand that, that are willing to step back and say, well, hey, no, hers is more serious. Go deal with her. Or, hey, you need to go take care of what she needs first.
We try to be considerate. We try to have consideration for each other. Okay. Any more questions? If not, let's see. I'm gonna give them a moment. That was the look. While I give them a moment, that was the same answer I gave on my page. Because somebody asked that very same question. Somebody very big and
Yeah, I
Facebook
would
famous
say,
asked.
man, if you're looking at it like that, or if you have to look at it like that, then you got a big issue on your hands. You have selfish women on your
Right,
hands.
right.
If you have to look at a women like both of them are in needs, and which one you're gonna cater to first, then wow, I would not. That sounds like some hardship
Right.
right there for the man in that position.
Right. And Zay said so. It's not just about how the husband behaves, but the women too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot.
Kay Barry says his wife was going to send us an email. That's fine, sis. Send us an email. Send all the questions. Some may get videos and some may get a personal response, so that's no problem. Nina Burke asks, do you make household decisions together, the three of us?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the
All the time. You want to keep a peaceful house. You want to keep a happy house. The point of family, it should make everybody happy in it. So you want to always make sure that the decision that is being made, everyone is accepting of it. Everybody is okay with it. Is happy with it.
Right. I hear that. Yeah, we have all these household meetings. We have household meetings and business meetings, and we're always talking. And I always tell people, and really, I'm just stalling for time, guys. So if y'all have any more questions after I'm done with saying what I'm saying, then we could probably be done with the whole thing. But uh, we do tend to try to fall on the one that has the most logical, you know, response. And you're going to make the ultimate decision at the end of
Yeah,
all
as
things.
a man, you have to preside over decisions, but that doesn't mean it always have to be your decision, or it has to go, the way you want it.
Right.
A good leader is a good servant, right? So you have to serve. You have to consider everybody involved and what is best for them, what they want, and you make your decision based on that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think you guys, we're going to wrap it up. If you guys have any questions after this, or anybody watching the video have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Feel free to send us an email. What our email address is, I'm not really sure. Like, you can go back a couple of videos and find that information and send us an email.
I think it might be the co-wives at Gmail.
Yeah, I think it is the co-wives at
co-wives@gmail.com.
gmail.com. I'm afraid to give that and then them be like, send it to somebody else. But definitely put your questions, and we'll either do follow-up videos. Our husband may do a follow-up video or two. He's already going to do a part 2 to this one. So perhaps some of your questions will be answered then, but just stay tuned. Watch out for us. And there is another question. Are you interested in answering it, or you want to save it for the second? I'll read it to you.
What is it?
And you can say whether or not you want to put it to the second. How receptive is the extended family with the three of you, particularly grandparents, aunts, and uncles?
Everybody's receptive. We don't have any, you know, the, certain individuals, we can see that they're not, gung ho about it, or they still reserved about it, but they do respect it.
Right.
They do respect what we have going on enough to not try to undo it, or mess with it, or bring any negativity towards it.
Right.
So they do I will say cooperate with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Hey, Deborah. Okay, we leaving, but shalom.